I want to tell the story about a colleague of mine whose parents were killed by a pack of feral dogs. His father was retired, and his mother was still working, and when she came home, she always walked her pet dogs out in the country. They live in the country. They lived in the country. So she walked these dogs every day about the same time, the same distance. And she was out there, and he noticed that she was gone for much longer than usual. The father did. And so he decided to go out and try to find her. He got in his pickup truck and went down the route that she normally takes. And there was, out in the field, he saw this group of dogs milling around, and it looked like possibly a body that they were milling around. And so he thought, I can't, hoping that it's not his wife. So he got out. He just charged on over there, hoping to scare the dogs off. But the dogs actually decided to attack him as well and killed him. So they were both killed, and they were both dead when the police came and found them. Hi, my name is Gene Feigley, and I am a retired university professor. When my wife and I started working at this home for children, we took the place of the Lowe's, and the kids in their house were asked to call them Mom and Pop. And the Lowe's were are fundamentalist Christians. For various reasons, we decided we would actually leave this place, but we kept in touch with the person who was the social worker there, and it turned out that she had a story to tell us that was quite shocking to me. She said that one of these children was taken on the house counselors took a vacation into the mountains in Pennsylvania. He was sexually involved with these two former house counselors, and then when he got back, he wanted to continue that relationship, but they said, no, we can't do that. At which point he became pretty angry. He just somehow got a pistol and went out there and fired it, and everyone in the house was awakened by gunshots and into the door. And Mr. Lowe was wounded, I think, in the shoulder. And he, when questioned about this, Mr. Lowe said, well, I don't know who this person was. I've never seen him before. And however, every boy in that home knew who it was. This incident was not reported to the police because it would have been bad publicity for the home. The conference happened in the early 70s, and it was in Santa Barbara, California. And I had gone out there thinking I would actually convert this into an interesting experience. So when I got to Santa Barbara, and after the conference was over, I just had planned to go hitchhiking up the California coast on Route 1, and then go to San Francisco and visit my wife's cousin. I think I'd met him maybe once before, and he was married and had a young child. The trip up the coast was just fascinating. I was picked up by this old VW van pulled over, and there were 4 guys in there, 2 up in front, 2 in the back. So I got to sit in the back with the other 2. And one of them, I mean, these guys were obviously high on something. And one of them was sitting right in the middle next to me, and he had this huge hunting knife, and he was dipping it into a jar of peanut butter and licking it off the blade of the hunting knife. And then I was picked up by 2 guys in a pickup truck. At some point, they pulled out some joints and started smoking some weed. And you know, I'm just going along to get along, and so I had some too, and it was like this countryside just all of a sudden looked really remarkable. We went in, gave my wife's cousin a call, and told him I was on the way, and so, you know, he said, "Fine, we'll see you when we get here." And I got there, and when I got there, his wife and daughter were away that weekend. So anyway, he said, "Oh, we'll get together with a friend of mine, maybe go to a movie or something, and we'll get something to eat and then go to a movie." So we went to Chinatown, got some food, and then we went to his choice of movies. And it was like 2 classic porn movies. Thought, this is very San Francisco, I guess. The first movie was The Devil and Miss Jones. And then the second one, well, I don't remember the name of it, but it was about a dentist and what happened in the dentist's chair. But then after that, I heard that they got divorced. And basically what happened was that he had died of, and then later he died of AIDS, HIV, AIDS. And it was kind of a shock, and then it put this whole thing into perspective. The next story has to do with some friends of ours from North Carolina that my wife and I and children have gone have taken vacation with them at the beach for 30-some years. We were at a beach in North Carolina, and it was a disaster. I mean, you know, for so many people, it was really ridiculous. And except for me. But I saw, you know, several of the guys were carrying one of the guys up to the house. I thought, what's going on here? And you know, they had called 911, and what had happened was that he had been just sort of body surfing and got smashed into the bottom of the ocean, into the ocean floor by a huge wave, and it bent his neck back in a funny fashion, so that he could hardly move. It had done some damage to his spinal cord. He was in the hospital for a day or two. After this guy got back to North Carolina, to his home, it took probably several, 3, 4, 6 months maybe, before he was back to normal and could do normal things. Yeah. My daughter, who had a young child, the child scratched her cornea, so she had to go in for the emergency room. The food poisoning thing was affected probably half of the other people there, I think. And it was didn't affect me, but they were throwing up like over a 24-hour period. When I was in college, my girlfriend became pregnant and had a child. I was kind of a pretty wild person, lots of drinking and hanging out. And I always thought that I would never find my daughter, my oldest daughter. Through the internet, she was able to find me. The first contact was an email. So anyway, I was quite shocked. So she was 48 at the time of this call, and the last time I had seen her, she was 4 months old. I had told my wife about her. My wife knew this all the time, and we decided, that we would invite her to, my daughter, to come down to Columbia and visit and get to know who she is, and she could get to know us. After our first meeting, we have met a number of times. My other daughter and son have really gotten along very well with her. So I guess not everything's a disaster.